Hi, I'm Chris Funk. We're at the Newport Folk Festival. This is Rachael Price. Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Welcome back to Newport. Is this your first show since the pandemic, or have you played other ones as well?
We've played some other shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this your first show at Newport since the pandemic? It probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It is.
Cool.
Yeah. I tried to come to the Fort last year, but
they wouldn't let you in.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in.
How does it feel to be back? How's it feel to be back here at Newport?
It feels, a little surreal and also oddly normal. I think the fact that it feels normal is what makes it feel surreal, because
Right.
we all just had this heinous year.
Right.
Yeah, and here we are.
Well, I'm excited
We
to see
made
you.
it.
Excited to see you play today. I was curious if there was someone along the way in not assuming that you've had musical education, but I think you have, that was an educator that was important to you, or a mentor, or somebody that you could speak to.
Mm-hmm. I have a vocal teacher. His name is Ron Browning. He lives in Nashville. He was the first vocal teacher who introduced me when I was about 14 or 15 to a really crucial part of singing any sort of like popular contemporary music, which I'll get it's technical, but it's basically singing in the front of your face. It's what it's what you have to do to communicate and to sing easily and to sing night after night. It's a really big piece.
Okay.
And he showed that to me when I was 15, and it was like life-changing, because all of a sudden I had a really low, like sort of husky voice when I was 15, and all of a sudden I had like a bright voice and people could understand me a lot better when I made this switch. And I've always remembered him for that, but he still coaches me, and he is like completely versed in the technical, but also is more of like a mental healer.
Right.
You know, he really gets inside you. So he's like, well, this is the technical thing that you could fix, but I'm not going to give you a technical prompt to fix it. I'm going to give you an emotional prompt, and it works every time with him.
Wow.
He's a genius.
Right. So
yeah, he teaches a lot of he teaches like Alison Krauss. I mean, he doesn't teach them, he coaches them.
Right.
You know.
So it's like singing psychology. As you sort of
Yeah,
say.
exactly. He's like a singing therapist.
Did you see Fred Armisen's set yesterday? Because he talked about singing from the forehead, when I was really curious if he's ever addressed that with you.
That would make, if I'd heard him say that, I'd be like, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I didn't see his set,
Cool.
but I saw him when he came on with Beck.
And speaking of voice then, I tour in a rock and roll band, and came up in rock and roll where we don't warm up at all.
Yeah.
We get into a van with our friends, we drink a lot of beer, and then we wonder why we hate each other after 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But also, we don't warm up, so we start to wear and tear on ourselves. And the voice, as we get older, my band, some people have had problems along the way, all my friends, and at some point you have to acknowledge that this is like something you have to take care of, just like I have a guitar tech. So I was wondering if you can talk about the importance of vocal care on the road, period, and also what you do when you're touring.
Yeah, I do a lot. I mean, I always say with vocal warming up, like, you don't have to do it, but it is a shortcut to get to know your entire voice, because when you go on stage, you don't sing every single note in your range, and that's what you do in a warm-up on various syllables or sorts of things. So I was like, you're not going to do that in a set necessarily. You're not going to hit every single note that you can make out of your body, but that's what you do in a warm-up. So it's a shortcut to sort of intimacy with your voice.
Got it.
So that's why I like to do it, and it's it's also helpful. Like anything, it's a muscle. It's like a warm-up before a workout.
Right.
And vocal care on the road for me is like, it's gotten easier because I understand, I've tested my boundaries a little bit, but I get a lot of sleep. I'm the first one in bed.
Yep.
I don't really party much. Drink a lot of water, and but there's also like lots of little tricks you learn. Like I found like a bike ride. Well, sometimes like if my voice is feeling a little scratchy, I go on a bike ride and I do my warm-ups while I'm on the bike.
Oh, wow.
And like like there's just like weird stuff that you like. You're like, oh, this always gets me in the zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. But would you carve out time like today to do it? Or you said you don't always have to do it.
You don't always have to do it. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd say like it is like 50% like taking care of your voice and technique, but it is definitely 50% like psychological.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. And for some people, I'm like, I don't know how they're doing that night after night, and I think it's like fully like they've leveled up.
Right.
Like in Buddhism, where they're just like, I've reached singing nirvana. Like I'm good.
Right. They don't take batting practice.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
So how many times have you played Newport before? Do you recall?
This will be the fourth time. It's the third time for Lake Street Dive, and I have a side project that played here 2 Newports ago.
Right, I remember that. And what was your first, do you remember your first time playing here, or did you know about the festival?
I did. Yeah, we knew a lot about the festival, and we were nervous, and nobody really knew who we were at that point. It was just at the beginning of things taking off for us. And it was very memorable because Mavis Staples sang with us, and she asked to sing one of our songs, which I thought was incredibly generous.
Right.
And now that I've come to Newport and done so many like sit-ins and realized what the vibe is, for someone to be like, I want to learn a different, like, it's not like wow. Yeah, I think about that all the time.
With a legend.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of insane.
It was life-changing.
I think she wants to take control and make sure nobody covers the weight anymore.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But incredibly flattering to you, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome.
It was.
Well, you're going to play today. I won't keep you, so thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.